So welcome back. I am all covered with melted plastic because I've been trying to fit some stuff in to the dash area so we can get the buttons in there. So let's just go take a look over there and see what I have done so far. Alright, so here's the dash. You can see I put this metal frame that I made right up in there. I had to trim out a little bit here, and a little bit over there to make sure we had enough room for it. Just maybe 1/4 inch on each side. So, looks halfway decent. Not like we're gonna go win any 2,000 some show car type of stuff. So next I am going to run a couple bars from down here up there and there to there, a couple square tubes there, and then one from this reinforcement ring out to there. That way that will be part of the car and shouldn't interfere with anything else that we need to do with like transmission and type of stuff. So that way we can pull the transmission out and everything. It'll be in its own little section. So yeah, that's what I'm going to tackle here next. Grab a tape measure, measure up some tubes, and start zapping that thing into place. Alright, so maybe you can see it or not, but we've got this plate here. It is solidly hooked up. Looks like the paint's dry now, so we can drop the dashboard down where it belongs. So it kind of all swings it up in there. But I needed to figure out what wires or what in the ignition. So usually I just use a continuity tester. That's continuity, not nudity. But I don't know where my tester is at, so I'll just use the standard I don't know what's with there, but anyways, I'll just use a power box, and that lets me know that these two hot ignitions are tied together. We got nothing, and we got nothing. Turn it on full. Power and power. That's power and not power. So, and the red is over here, power only. So, that's going to be an interesting concept. That means I can remove one of these main power wires because I won't need that much power running through. Then we can choose whether we want any power on that middle section or if all that we want is an off and completely on. Which I am thinking that's what I want. It's just the off, completely on. So any of those would work. If we kill it back here, let's just use the yellow one. That way we can technically have on, off, and then this should be like a steering wheel lock. Alright, so I just need to keep my red wire, and we're going with the yellow wire here. Then I'll just have on and off, because the rest of it I really don't care. And that will be how it is. Alright, so I shall attempt to pull this thing back out. There we go. So now I can remove the wires that I don't need keep the wires that I need, and I can simplify this whole ignition setup in here, which will make me a lot happier. Alright, well I got my electrical panel all rewired up, so there's only 2 wires, a ground and a power. That way when we click on the power, everything lights up, and then as you switch on the switches, they will all power up. Well, it appears that everything does work. All right, that is a win. So now we can just start mounting this thing up. And away we go. All right, so probably can't see me very well, but doesn't matter. We got everything kind of wired out. Got the harness for the ignition switch thinned out, and I've got this all riveted in. It should hold in there. I don't think it's going anywhere. And then from the ignition switch, I ran the ignition line to this fuse box. This way, this is a ignition power tap, so anything that I want to turn on with ignition, I can just plumb right in here. It's only being fed by a 12 gauge wire, so I'll have to make sure that all of these are probably like a 2.5 amp fuse to avoid overloading something, and that should pretty much be fine there. So we can just crank it on, lights are up, we should be good to go. Now the upside is then we got the kill switch in the back here. And out it goes. So yeah, I think this is going to work out quite nice. USB chargers are working. We should be good to fly. I just got to mount this thing down, probably somewhere about here, and we can call that probably pretty close to accomplished. This way I still have access around the sides, change out fuses, add more things, but I need to, since this is a really deep holes here, I gotta find a couple little bolts to run through, and then that will all be mounted up. So I think I'm going to be done here for this time. I've got a whole lot of other wiring that needs to be done, so I'm gonna start tackling some of that busy work, probably try to figure out which things in these little other guys run with things on the stock here, so that way we can get the blinkers, headlights, and all that type of stuff working. And then I'll have to come up with a filler panel in here to put a couple other buttons, probably our push to start. So got a lot of things I got to lay out, and yeah. So with the holiday coming up here, we'll just get to it when we can, and hopefully you'll all have a good set of holidays, and we'll have to just see you later.